another one, the next one, the same exact thing. Mateusz Gamrot defeated Diego Ferreira. Gamrot cashes at minus 225, second round TKO with a pretty bizarre knee to the body. I guess that floating rib he caught. And Ferreira tapped to the basically a technical TKO. Gamrot by TKO plus 300, inside the distance plus 210, under 2.5 rounds plus 140. Fight goes to the distance. No, cashed at plus 160. What did you have on this one? What did you think, Liam?
Yeah, so this was a massive fight for my slate. I forgot to track a bet on fight goes the distance. No, it was actually the first bet I locked in on this fight because I saw it was at plus money. And again, that's what I was looking at to start targeting this card. So I did have a play on that. That was nice that cashed. I also had 5 units on Mateusz Gamrot on the money line tonight at minus 180. I was on Pub Sports Radio today, and I told people to play Mateusz Gamrot by sub round 2 and round 3. And so it was a little devastating, to be honestly, that they graded that as a TKO. He had a choke locked in when they graded that as a TKO. And on top of that, the guy quit. So I'm like, he quit and he had a choke and it's a TKO. So this is a brutal game at times when you try and get specific. I would make the plus 3,000 bet again 10 times if you gave me the opportunity. I think CDF slows down in this fight more often than not. He can't make the weight anymore. When he does, he looks like shit. And I thought he looked like shit on the scale. I thought he looked like he was having a hard time in this fight in terms of gas. And I also just thought that Gamrot was doing everything I wanted him to do. He was taking him down, letting him up, so he wasn't getting caught in the grappling transitions. He's like, no, come on, keep working your way back to your feet, get tired. And then he started exploiting more predictable reactions. He got him baited on takedowns, and then he threw the knee to the body, caught him clean. And I heard somebody say on Twitter, and I'm not trying to blow anybody up or whatever. I don't even know who said it, to be honest, but I saw it. It was like, before he was getting injured, I feel like CDF was like close to coming back. I was like, injured? Like, no, guys, he got kneed in the body. He got beat in a fight. That's you don't want that to happen. It's like, that's not an injury. That's damage that somebody did. It's like, imagine somebody said that when they got knocked out, before I got injured in that fight, I was doing really good. It's like, yeah, but like Chris Dawkins can't use that one, before Derek Lewis injured me with that big clubbing right hand, No. It just doesn't work that way. So I feel like that was just a better, cleaner striking from Gamrot here. And a couple of things that I didn't love defensively was getting touched with the 1-2 at times. But I feel like in the top 10 at lightweight, it's kind of hard to avoid that. I thought he controlled most of the exchanges. This was not an easy fight, especially early, but he did everything well, managed it perfectly, and found the finish opportunistically. I thought he would. So I played live inside the distance. I had money on rounds 2 and rounds 3, and also the rounds 2 and rounds 3 sub prop. So I feel like I had a pretty good read on that fight. And, a lot of people were taking the dog shot. I understand where they're coming from because I have lost a few bets on CDF, but now I feel like I know his game pretty well. And I'm like, if he's got a pressure grappler who's not going to get submitted and who's not afraid to shoot takedowns, I feel like they have an advantage. And even with that 4-inch reach advantage, he wasn't able to keep Gamrot off of him. He was the one absorbing more of the heavy blows.
Yeah, and usually I would most times, Diego's my guy, and I was surprised to start the fight how good he looked in comparison to how he looked pretty bad against Gillespie. But then as the fight went on, it seemed like I thought maybe he would have learned from the Gillespie fight, but he was just like, it seemed like he was turning up the volume in all the wrong spots. And even when he was hitting him, I don't think he was hitting him that hard. And Gamrot has this style, and that's what goaded him into losing against Kudaladzé. He just has this style where he tends to let the fight go where his opponent wants it to go, even though he's kind of better at it than like it. He just has a kind of in boxing you called it, ring generalship. He's really good at leading the fight. Certain guys are. I feel like Diego was good at leading the fight, but wherever the fight was being taken, Gamrot was better at. And I kind of feel like that was also the story in the CoolBet fight too. And it was just so close that CoolBet got the coin flip decision. With that said, I also feel like Gamrot, when he was in KSW, was very similar to this too. He plays down to his competition, because there was fights in KSW where he was like a -600 favorite, and it was competitive, and that might just be the parody of KSW or whatever, but he's great, but he just kind of has a tendency to be goaded into these weird type of fights where he just kind of fights down to his competition. With that said, I think he's the best European lightweight in the division. And I think a lot of people will say Rafa Fiziev, but what better way to decide it? And if we're going to talk, who to fight next, I think Gamrot versus Fiziev is a great matchup. What do you think about that?
I think that's a phenomenal matchup. That is that's a tricky one, man. I'd have to spend a lot of time thinking about that because I thought I had Fiziev figured out, and he beat the fucking shit out of Brad Riddell, and I was like, okay, nope, got to go back, got to learn more about this guy, better than I thought. So I won't be making the same mistake flying in blind, but I do have a lot of faith in my guy Gamrot. I said before this fight I thought he was going to be top 5, and eventually, I not trying to rush him, but I think that now he's going to be in the top 15, and people are going to know who he is. And a couple impressive finishes now in a row. The UFC is going to really like that. So he's getting pushed up the card.
Oh yeah. With that said, you reminded me. With that said, Gamrot improves to 3-1 since coming into the UFC, and $100 bettor who's back Gamrot Inside the Distance since he's come into the UFC in 2020 has turned a profit of $486. So he's been plus money per fight on the Inside the Distance. So even if you're counting even the CoolBet decision loss, you still made money flat betting him on the Inside the Distance. And there was one other thing that I wanted to touch on based on what you reminded me of with Fiziev, the European versus European thing. I feel like they might not want to do that because those are kind of besides Makhachev, who's Russian, those 3 guys are the only European guys, that Joel Alvarez as well. But I feel like they won't match those 2 guys up because they would want to keep those guys kind of, if they're going up the rankings, they want to have as much separate exposure. So maybe like maybe Brad Riddell and Gamrot, or maybe Gregor Gillespie and Gamrot. But honestly,
I don't want to serve my man Brad Riddell another tough fight like that right off the rip ski. Let's see
that's
who's
true.
in this top. Man, what's Dan Hooker up to?
Yeah,
I'd like
but
to see him defend a top 10 spot.
Hooker is in the same position as Riddell, where it's just like, dude, he's had a rough go, from getting knocked out by Chandler and almost getting his arm ripped off by Makhachev.
We shouldn't give it to him. Fuck. Maybe Chandler?
Oh, Gamrot versus Chandler?
I'd fuck with it. Chandler's on to bigger fights, I think.
Yeah, he wants.
Yeah, how do you get into this top 5, man? What do you got to do? Knock out fucking Armand or something? Like, Jesus Christ. The lightweight division is just insane. Who do you fight in there, man? Like, he might not. Honestly, if I was him, if I was his manager, I'd be like, yo, fight somebody outside the top 15 and get another impressive finish. Who cares?
That's
what I would say.
Yeah, or fight like a washed.
Because right now, what's he gonna do to get into that top 5? It's just not like I don't know who in the top 5 would sign to fight him, and it's all murderers row in like 9 through 15. Like they have this sneaky way of putting 9 through 15 as like the toughest guys at lightweight right now, bro. I think that those guys are going to in the very near future eclipse the guys who are currently at the top.
Yeah, I feel like Gamrot should take the Charles Oliveira route and like style on a Nick Lentz type, or let's get Gamrot in there with like Clay Guida or something. Like let's get him in there with somebody who can go the distance and just get beat up, and so that he could 30-26 somebody, but also maybe potentially finish them, because he made short work of Jeremy Stevens. Let's get more of those guys. And that was Stevens moving up to lightweight too. Maybe. Yeah, let's give
You know who's on
Gamrot.
a hot streak right now? And I don't even mean to be this guy, Bobby Green. That might be a great fight.
Oh, that has split decision written all over it.
It really does, dude. It really does. Or Alexander Hernandez. That's a fun one. I kind of think he would win that one, but that's probably a tough fight. I'd have to look into.
Oh, I got it. I totally got it. And then we'll move on. Diego Moises.
Yeah, although again, he's my boy and he's been on hard times. But yeah, I mean, it's an appropriate matchup, but that poor bastard, dude. He got served from the bottom of the barrel too. They're like, hey, you want to fight the guy who never makes weight, who looks like he's a 175 pounder, and then take on freaking who was the other guy he fought? Islam. So just like murderer's row for his last two. Let's give him Gamrot next. I mean, it's just UFC lightweight though. Who's an easy fight? I'm not sure. These guys are studs. Grant Dawson.
Yeah, with that said,
that would be a fun one. I'd like him to style on Grant Dawson.
Or
Gamrot.
Yeah. Or who anyways, let's just move on because we can go all day with this. But yeah, anyways.